By 2500 BC, the Egyptians were trading goods with their neighbor, North Africa, during the era of global exploration and interactions. The Phoenicians established their first remote settlement in Carthage and became strong competitors in trade with the Greeks and Romans. During the Persian Wars, the Greek naval might was challenged by the Persians, led by Cyrus the Great. The Arabs, alongside the Indians and Romans, are referred to as carriers of civilizations because they not only traded goods but also ideas wherever they went. Alexander the Great created a cultural trend known as the Hellenistic trade. There are more famous leaders and explorers who are present in the age of exploration, starting with the travels of Marco Polo, jumpstart to European explorations. Marco Polo, born in the year 1254, was a Venetian traveler who reached faraway islands in Asia, such as Tibet, Burma, Laos, Java, Japan, and Siberia. He spent 20 years in Asia together with his father, Niccolo, and his uncle, Maffeo. On their return home to Venice, the Polos were captured in a war at Genoa, nearly 400 kilometers apart. While Marco Polo was in prison, he wrote a book entitled The Book of Marco Polo, which was distributed and translated all over Europe. The Book of Marco Polo contains a detailed description of the places he visited, which inspired other Europeans to explore the world of Asia. However, a few of them were able to return to their homes. Many never came back. The main factors that led to exploration were scientific, religious, political, and economic factors. Let us further discuss the factors. In ancient times, the maps of the bodies of the ocean were not yet drawn by the cartographers, so Portuguese Henry the Navigator sponsored expeditions to explore, and by doing so, they established a maritime school and invented the compass, astrolabe, caravel, or lightweight ship, the development of manuals for tides and water currents, and the new routes for cartographers to draw. By 1419, the apprentices of Henry were able to travel to Cape Bajador in southern Morocco, Africa. As more explorations were launched, the travelers made misconceptions like sea monsters and unknown monstrous creatures, but that also made the travelers motivated to satisfy their curiosity. The Crusades were a group of Christians who wanted to regain Christian converts from the Muslims who were originally Christian, if not for the attack of the Seljuk Turk. Numerous individuals attempted to flee religious persecution and wars for being Protestants and non-Catholics by traveling to and collaborating with one secure nation, such as the United States of America. Jews migrated to places where they could live more freely and were free from racial or religious discrimination. The Society of Jesus, on the other hand, turned out to be religious soldiers like the Crusades during the 15th and 17th centuries. The priests not only spread the teachings but also built religious communities wherever they went. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella became co-founders of the Catholic Church just to compete with the Muslim missionaries who spread the faith in remote areas of the world. To increase your power, you must increase the size of your military forces, and by the 15th and 16th centuries, Portugal and Spain had made voyages across the ocean to gain overseas military power and the glory of gaining the title of the most powerful state in the world. Both countries have a modest share of the Mediterranean trade and have discovered new routes through the rich trade of the East. But aside from the desire for Muslim controlled land, they also wanted to control the spice trade, but the Portuguese was absorbed by the ruling family of Spain. In the Middle Ages, the growth of the money economy encouraged the expansion of capitalist industry. That way, everyone could earn more wealth, including the national treasury. After the fall of Constantinople, the trading routes were turned into caravans of European traders because it hindered their importation of indispensable Asian goods such as spices and silk. Due to the way the Italians used the trading system, the other European states were forced to look for a different trade route where they could directly trade with the Asians. Soon after, the discovery of new routes led them into new materials and new markets where they could invest their capital. While the venture was on, there was a report of Arab traders carrying gold and ivory from West Africa and shipping them to India. Since then, Henry the Navigator has sponsored voyages on which they have reached areas such as Cape Bojador in Morocco, the Cape Verde Islands, and the Sierra Leone in West Africa. In order to return the payment from their voyages, the Portuguese put up a sugar plantation in West Africa, where they captured Africans and turned them into slaves as workers. By then, the slave trade soon surpassed the sugar and gold trade as the main export commodity for the Portuguese.